to the show.
9 to noon.
Time for two more.
Just listen. There are many, many positives I can get out of this game.
I know, right?
And that's a fact.
You like that?
Personal foul. Clipping.
Big boy's back.
Hey, it's Parker Fox to start 9 to noon, so he gets this. What's happening with your alma mater? Beat the 19 last night. Iowa had a barrage of shots at the end to ruin the fun and tie the game, and missed them all. And Gophers basketball beat another ranked team. And good morning, Parker Fox. Good morning, Nordo.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, that was fun. You got the first half at the old Canterbury, watching it with some amazing friends over there, and then caught the end of the game at home finally. But wow, what a game. You hold Bennett Sturtz, who's arguably one of the best point guards in the country, to 0 points in the first half. He explodes in the second half for 21, and ended up shooting it pretty well in the second. But just a team effort, truly a team effort. I think Minnesota, they're in a position where you lose your starting point guard, you lose your starting center for the season, and you can get pretty down. You could kind of mail it in and say, hey, it's our first year. All the excuses in the world are there for you if you want them. And the approach has been the opposite of that. And Nico's really orchestrated exactly what he wants and exactly what the future of the program is going to be in Minnesota. And I think last night was just kind of icing on the cake for them to be able to beat Iowa at home, storm the court. You know, you can comment whatever you want on storm the court, but anytime you beat Iowa, hasn't happened in, I think, 6 years now at home. So that's one worth celebrating.
Well, I'm curious, is this at this stage, you mentioned it, and he's fresh to Minnesota. He's got some guys that he dialed in on and keyed in on. He wants them to be a part of this roster. But as he kind of finds his way, moments like this, whether it's Iowa last night, I think it was Indiana, right? Indiana,
that's right,
the other victory. Are these just sneak peeks at who Nico is as a coach, right? Because in the end,
sneak peek at the Nick.
Over the totality of this season, what we saw last night is probably this team's going to fail maybe more than they succeed. Mm-hmm. But in patches, with a patchwork roster, the injuries you noted, that this is kind of a testament to like, oh, I think Nico knows how to ball. Nico can figure it out. And that should lend to maybe some optimism among the maroon and gold faithful.
Yeah, I think if you ask Nico this question, he would answer it and say, "This is the standard for what I want to be here at Minnesota." When people come into the barn, into the home arena, we want to have that home court advantage. As you guys know, in the late 90s, you couldn't get a ticket to go to the barn. It was one of the hottest tickets. Vikings and Gopher basketball were the hottest tickets in town. And I think Nico grew up through that culture. He was a student assistant underneath Clem Haskins, so he's seen it in his glory days. He knows what it can be like. So I think you're right, Nordo. There's injuries. There's things that are going to happen throughout a season. But if you put in place what you want the culture and what you want the program to look like, and you start winning games like this, you're going to get better recruits. You're going to get more funding. You're going to be able to have more NIL money. It's all going to continue to trend in the right direction. And then you got to have guys that are proud to be Minnesotans that want to stay home. Isaac Osama, Grayson Grove, two of those guys that really represent the University of Minnesota with great pride. And I'm just really happy for those guys that they get to experience this kind of stuff, because I've been a part of teams where you've struggled a little bit and everybody seems to turn on you. They're going to have, it's the highs and lows, right? Like throughout seasons, you're going to have peaks and valleys. You can't be too high. You can't be too low. But these guys got to be proud of what they did last night, beating Iowa at home, top 25 win.
Gopher Nation.
So the Bennett Sturtz.
Yeah.
Now, is he the kid who shot the top of the key 3-pointer where there are 2 seconds when he gets the ball? Mm-hmm. My man's composed enough to pump fake and get 2 to fly by him, not worried about the clock.
Yeah.
Gets off the shot and missed it. That was some composure right there.
The kid's a stud. He averaged 19 a game last year at Drake, 40 minutes a game almost, brought them to the NCAA tournament. You look at just the composure that he played with all night, and if you continue to watch Iowa basketball, you'll see more of the same. he's one of those guys that if he's 0 for 7 or if he's 7 for 7, he looks the exact same. And he knows that it's one of those things where it's like, hey, I missed this shot right now. I'm going to have this shot again at some point. Maybe that's February. Maybe that's March. Maybe that's into April. And I'm going to be more prepared for that moment. And I'm not getting too low on myself right now because I know this moment will come back again, and I'm going to make it when it presents itself.
Is he considered NBA stock?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's tough at the point guard position, right? The speed of some of those guys in the NBA, he would probably struggle with. But as we've noted on this show, shooting is the separator. He's an elite 3-point shooter, shooting it at 41% this year from three. So if you can continue to do that, look at Con Knippel, what he's done in his transition to the NBA.
Phenomenal.
If you can make shots, you're going to carve yourself out a role. But I think that's TBD. But he's definitely talented enough to do so.
Yeah, Con Knippel, man. I'm not trying to turn this into Charlotte Hornets fan line.
It's fun.
But when LaMelo Ball and/or Brandon Miller are down, Knippel's 25, 30, 33 points.
Oh, yeah.
So what I like a lot about him is Ball and Miller, a couple of stone cold scorers. They're playing every game now. So when that started, he had like a 6-point game and like he couldn't find a shot. But subsequently, he's worked in with the other two, who both are extremely gifted, and he's made a little MB3 down there for those guys. Man, Con Knippel's the bomb.
Well, it's the rookie effect of playing with guys that are kind of established in the league, and you go to a team and these are the go-to guys. They have the ball in their hands. But if you look at what Con's done, it's 7 to 12 3-point attempts per game. He's making 4 to 6 of them. And if you continue to do that, you're shooting at a good percentage and you're helping your team, hopefully win games. So I think he's the perfect kind of role guy to go along with those two.
So your Gophers.
Let's go.
Do they employ a 7-man rotation all the time? And if so, can it sustain?
Yeah, it's actually quite funny. I've been on the call for some of the games, obviously, so I've gotten to talk to Nico. And that's just what they have right now. That's just it's the lot that they were given with injuries, with some other different things that are behind the scenes. Regardless of what's going on, they have 7 guys that they're confident in playing. They're going to play each of their starters 30+ minutes, and then they're going to use Grayson Grove and Kai Shinholster, the freshman off the bench, both freshmen. One's redshirt, one's a true freshman, and whatever kind of minutes they can give them, they give them. Whether that be 4 fouls, whether that be like Grayson Grove had 4 big second half dunks in their win at Northwestern. So whatever they can give you, but they're really going to ride with their starting 5. And if you watch the way their offense is played, it's truly positionless. It's that Princeton style of cutting and flare cuts and back screens and ball movement, and the ball never moves. It's almost like a hot potato-esque style of offense. So all of them can pass, all of them can shoot. And I think when you have the ability to do that, it's really hard to guard.
Langston Reynolds. 13 points, 13 assists against Northwestern. Last night, 22 points. And correct me if I'm wrong here, he's not even supposed to be a starter, right? He's a starter because somebody got hurt.
Yeah. He wasn't starting the early in the season. He's a guy. He coming out of Northern Colorado last year was kind of their go-to guy. Obviously, that's a level down, but he was averaging 16 points a game. Playing more of a kind of an off-ball type of position, but the point guard goes down with an injury, and Isaac Osama is not really a true point guard either, more of an off-ball. So they kind of split the point guard duties, but he's been excellent. Just his vision on the court. Now, you have to give Nico credit as well for the way that his offense sets up the ability to pass the ball, but Langston's taken full advantage of that. He's not a 3-point shooter. 90% of his offense comes within the charge arc inside the paint. He struggles at the free throw line too. But he's got a relentless ability to get to the rim. And then anytime the defense kind of collapses and shrinks in, he's able to spray it to the outside to really good shooters. Cade Tyson shooting it over for 40%. Bobby Durkin, a 36% 3-point shooter. So anytime you have the ability to collapse the defense, you're going to either try to find buckets for yourself, or you're going to spray it out for open shooters.
A Steve's Appliances Marathon segment to begin with Parker Fox, former Gophers basketball player, part of the Power Trip Morning Show today, as many of you heard. StevesAppliances.com. With a fast delivery, free recycling, and guaranteed low prices as the big year-end sale continues. If you are looking for deals from a wonderful group, consider Steve's Appliances and StevesAppliances.com. The alma mater gets USC here Friday.
Yeah.
Then Bucky comes to town next Tuesday. Do you think Nico's squad wins both?
Yeah, very different games. USC is kind of a little bit more of a run and gun, a lot of athleticism. You're going to have a lot of length out in the court. Muss is a really good coach, gets those guys in the right spots. They'll probably play a little bit of zone defense as well. So I think making shots is going to be key in those games. I'm interested to see on what they look like. You go look at the Iowa team, not a very athletic team. Really good sets, good shooters, and Minnesota controlled them. And this is kind of going to be opposite. It's going to be a little bit faster paced. So Minnesota can't get caught up in trying to match USC's pace. They got to play their own game. And then you fast forward to a Wisconsin team at home. It's always fun. That the barn will be packed. There'll be a great crowd there. 6:00 tip on Big Ten Network, and it'll be an excellent game. Wisconsin a little down right now, trying to kind of find their groove when it comes into this Big Ten play. So both of these games are very winnable, and I think if they play the way that they played defensively against Iowa, they have a chance to beat anybody.
Parker is facing a proverbial fly in the metaphorical ointment. A tweet from 4 minutes ago from a man named Stephen Barr. Thank you for listening, Mr. Barr. Parker, sorry to rain on your ebullience, but half of the Iowa team was infected with some flu-like malady. One player didn't make the trip due to the level of illness.
Wasn't there this guy? I can't remember his name. I think he wore number 23. He supposedly had the flu and
come on, man,
played pretty well.
Yeah, Michael Jordan did.
Oh, that guy
in the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so you're saying it's possible. Anything's possible.
Here's the deal: is playing sick is the worst. It truly is. You run up and down the court one time and you feel like your lungs are going to collapse. It's terrible. I didn't know that about the Iowa team. But at the end of the day, the lights are on, the refs are there, the ball is tipped, and,
you just play what's in front of you.
And you got to play the game. So I think I try not to dive too deep into all the different nuances of the game. Is both teams had both their teams out there and they played the basketball game and we won the game. So at the end of the day, you're not going to look back and have an asterisk next to the game and be like, Iowa's team had the flu. No, it's going to show that there was a W and it's going to be in green.
Amen. Finchie has the Hal ballin'. Are you and young Maxwell going to do some fan line in the playoffs again? Because I don't know where they're going to be, but they will be postseason bound.
That's we got to continue to
Howlin' with the homies, boy.
That's right. Howlin' with the homies. Yeah, Maxwell, he's the best, man. It's so fun to work with him, and it's so fun to be a part of something that we haven't had a whole lot in my youth and childhood of growing up being a Timberwolves fan is playoffs, and we've gotten blessed with it the past couple of years all the way to the Western Conference Finals. Hopefully we can continue to get more of that. And the Wolves are looking good right now. They looked really good last night over Miami. Didn't catch as much as I wanted to while watching the Gopher game, but taking care of business. I think that was the best defensive game they've had this season, the lowest opponent output at 94 points. So you got to tip your cap to what they did, especially in the fourth quarter. Only 17 points for Miami Heat.
So Finchie's team beat Spolstra twice in a week, which is a handful, put up 141 in the nation's capital. So that sends somebody like me to the schedule to find when the next heat check game is. Has nothing to do with Miami. They need a heat check game right now. Maybe it's tomorrow night when the Cavs come to town. Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. That should be a good one.
Yeah, home and home too. So you get them at home, and then you got to go play at Rocket Arena in Cleveland. That's difficult. Anytime you play a team twice, the first game usually goes to the better team. So I think Minnesota pulls that one off at home, but then you got to go on the road against a team that can scout exactly what you did. But as we know in the NBA, when you have a guy like Anthony Edwards that can take over and go for 40, scouting doesn't matter sometimes. So one of those deals where this is a great opportunity right in front of you to steal two against a really solid Eastern Conference team.
There's a social media clip bouncing around from Spolstra's postgame press conference last night, where not only did he call Rudy Gobert maybe the most underrated player in the NBA, the effusive praise of how his rebounding has improved and just what a factor he is. But then beloved Spo was like, because I guess Gobert got into the team a little bit before yesterday's game or one of these recent games. And he was like, when I caught wind that Rudy got into the team before the game, I was like, oh, that's great. They're going to be all fired up, and they were, and then they beat Spo twice. But some very nice words from one of the best coaches in the history of the NBA, Eric Spoelstra, about Rudy Gobert's changing games.
Yeah, 13th season for the Frenchman, and it seems like he just continues to increase his basketball IQ. I think a lot of Wolves fans get frustrated with some of the things that you see from Rudy, but his impact does not go unnoticed, just especially defensively. You see guys that'll go into the paint and they'll just veer off in the other direction because they know that the Stifle Tower, is that what they're calling him?
Stifle.
He's chilling. He's chilling down there in the lane. I think anytime Rudy has a 15 plus rebound type of output, you give yourself a really good chance to win. He's been great on the offensive glass. He's been shooting his free throws decently. It's never been something that's been great for him. Every time he goes to the line, I think Wolves fans kind of cringe a little bit. But the fact that he's getting there and the fact that he's putting himself in positions to get rebounds, I think it's second in the league in rebounding this year at 11.1 a game, 11.3 points. So output is great, and he's running the court really well. You see some of these highlights of him being able to get out and transition. This Wolves team wants to run, especially when you have Julius Randle, as we've talked about. PA, he's confident with the ball in his hands, point forward type of role. If he's starting the break, you got to have somebody else run to the rim. We always preach you got two bigs. One of them's got to run right to the front of the rim. And if the other big has the hand, that means it's Rudy Gobert's job. That can result in some easy lob dunks as well.
Rudy is sixth in the NBA in offensive rebounds. Which is not bad.
Not bad.
The leader is at 4.6.
Rudy's got 3.9.
3.9, yeah. Yep. Oh, so you're looking at it.
Yep, we got it here.
Okay,
yep.
I was going to quiz you.
Oh, my bad.
Like who? Okay.
I don't got the other names, though. I only got Rudy.
Nordo, you're LFL raised. 5 ahead of Rudy for offensive rebounding in the 2025-2026 NBA.
I don't got it up either, Nordo. So I'm
five ahead. So best in the league?
Yeah, I think I probably
Adebayo?
Top of the head, probably could have gotten one for sure.
Adebayo?
I'll give you some hints.
I'm thinking like Hartenstein types. I'm thinking.
Well, the leader
Mitchell Robinson
is in his second year, I believe, and he plays in the Western Conference.
Is it the Houston Cat?
Wemby?
No. Wemby hasn't played enough games.
Yeah. Second year.
Number 1 is Donovan
Clingan.
Donovan Clingan, 4'9".
Yeah.
Second, the veteran Aussie. The veteran Aussie who ain't afraid of anybody in the NBA. Big man. His interviews are phenomenal because of his accent.
Steven Adams?
Steven Adams.
Yep.
Third, out for the year for Utah.
Oh, Kessler, yeah.
Fourth, Knicks guy who plays
Mitchell Robinson.
Maybe 18 minutes.
He grabs them, though.
Mitchell Robinson, 18 minutes a game, 4.5 offensive rebounds. Dude, that's unbelievable.
He's relentless. Terrible free throw shooter, but relentless on the glass.
He might be historically bad free throw.
Yeah, one of the worst of all time.
Wasn't Ben Wallace used to be the guy? Wasn't he the guy that's good luck, you can hit 3 out of 10?
Yeah. I mean, Ben Wallace, Shaq.
Yeah.
Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah.
3 of the worst in the history of the game.
But Mitchell hasn't been healthy in like 3 years. So good for him.
And the final one, right in front of Rudy Gobert, Eastern Conference.
Okay.
Record-wise, I guess, best team in the Eastern Conference.
Oh, it'd be Pistons. Is it Jalen Duren?
There we go. Jalen, yeah, that's right.
He's a monster.
Yeah, man. Zach Edey, who's still hurt, right behind Rudy Gobert. All right. Lastly, here on the Hal, if they trade to become better, what do they need more? A floor general who can quarterback the first team, or some 3-point scoring off the bench.
I love the idea of a floor general that can quarterback the first team, but I don't know if you have enough or want to give the pieces that you would have to give away to have a first team type of floor general. I think you would have to give up too much. Dante, Nas, probably a guy like Leonard Miller, maybe Jalen Clark in there as well. I think that's just too much. I think when you look at the way they've kind of changed their offensive approach early in the season, they had the ball in Dante's hands a lot, and continually throughout the ball game, he does have the ball in his hands. But Anthony Edwards is primary ball handler. Julius Randle with some different options as the point forward. You love that aspect of his game.
I do, but as a mixer.
As a mixer,
so like in the OKC Western Conference Final, it was the bit.
Yeah.
And what's your guy's name? Who coaches the Thunder? Not Duvernay.
Dagnall.
Yeah, thank you. So took him 5 seconds to pick up on it, and he's like, okay, if you want Julius to shoot 10 threes a game, we're going to let him shoot 10 threes a game, you know, because I think the co-manning the ball handling, the floor general aspect for Dante DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
And he's doing some winning things.
Yeah,
for sure.
Winner.
When he gets his hands on a ton of basketballs and, he takes away things in subtle fashion.
Yeah.
His 3-point shooting is broke, man.
Yeah.
And it just hasn't been as lethal consistently, since he's gotten into the starting five, because he just has so many other things to work to deal with. I would imagine.
Yeah,
I think he's like 3 for his last 26.
I believe it. And Julius hasn't been great from 3 either.
I don't like Julius from 3 that much. I like him like 2 or 3 times a game max.
I'm with you. I think when he puts his head down and attacks,
Thank you.
That's when he's at his best. I would love a little bit more bench help. I think they haven't been to the level defensively that Chris Finch would want them at. I think they were really good last night defensively.
Yeah, they're getting there.
And I think they're trending in the right direction. But you look at that Brooklyn loss, like that's an unacceptable one just defensively. Brooklyn's a terrible offensive team. You can't take off nights, and I get it. It's one of those, cogs in the system in an 82 game season. But I think if you have to look at something specifically, I look at the defensive effort. How can you bring even more Jalen Clark? Maybe you bring in somebody that's known for their defensive energy. We talked TJ McConnell, Nordal. I absolutely love that. It's still stuck on my brain. But I think at the end of the day, it's cliche, but defense wins championships. And if you can find a way to bring in somebody that can help you on that side of the ball, you got the scoring in Ant and Julius and Jaden when Jaden's on his offensive game. You need that defensive side of the ball as well.
Packers at Bears. Who do you like and why?
Bears right away.
Really?
It's quick twitch for me. I think
it's a pick'em game, man.
I know it's a pick'em game. I'm going quick twitch. I think Ben Johnson is ready for this moment. I think they're going to have it going offensively. I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun. I think there's a lot of really good games. I think
it's phenomenal.
You look across the whole slate, it's really anyone's deal. I think you can make an argument for a lot of teams have the opportunity to win this thing, but I really like the Bears. I like where they're at, and I like their defense as well.
Cindy in studio at 11 o'clock for some border battle and some playoff previewing with David Sinekin. Great seeing Taylor last night at that surprise party at Canterbury. You guys look super happy. And the banker was there to make sure everything was just perfect for the night.
Oh, yeah. He was looking over. Everybody. He was fired up, man. Yeah,
Nordo barely knows the banker, Tim Siegley.
Yeah.
But every time he sees him, he chortles or chuckles or smiles because Nordo can sense a good vibe.
Oh, yeah.
He just knows there's something pure, good, righteous, and help-worthy here.
It's a good human right there.
It's the banker.
The smile never leaves his face.
Unbelievable.
He and his wife were so nice to chat with last night. No, that was an awesome party at Canterbury. That was so fun.
Yeah, that was terrific. I'm really glad your daughter could be there as well. Just the whole bit. It was excellent. The food was great. The people were great.
That was cool, man.
Yeah, it was great to see the banker. We got lunch today at noon, so I'm sure we'll be chatting a little bit more about it.
And you
as
had
well.
no idea, did you?
None until I got off the 3rd floor elevator, looked left.
Oh, yeah.
Well, my son had sold to me for a week and change. There is an employee, Canterbury Park employee only, Turbo Texas Hold'em tournament.
You were fired up.
And Dad, my gift to you for your 60th birthday is it's $100 a person. I'm going to buy you in. Like, all right. I mean, I'm laying on my couch at 6 o'clock. Honestly, with all due respect, it's the last thing I wanted to do. I was just wondering, there's nobody here. This is weird. It's my 60th birthday. There's nobody at my house right now. It's weird. It's lonely.
Yeah.
So then Buddy shows up. We roll to Canterbury. I get off the 3rd floor elevator and it starts to hit me like, well, why are we doing a poker tournament up here? And then I look left and I see the balloons. Then I come into the room and I had to turn away. I was so touched and moved.
Yeah, special.
I mean, I just looked and I was like, Nordo, Parker, Taylor, Alec, Charge, Utah, Mouse.
That's so good.
It just was unbelievable. Nordo brought Ava and Stella. There were friends from my church. Chris Hockey sang.
Oh, so good.
Adam Daniel played the keyboard. About 80 of you just did a great job keeping secrets because I was blown away. My daughter Coley flew in from Denver. Derek driving me to Canterbury for the surprise shindig was cool. The TLC and love that Lisa put into the evening, second to none. Church and Roxy flew in from Utah. That woke the old man up, and I was genuinely touched, man. So thank you guys very much.
Awesome. The videos were so cool. Just to see you, just with the old, like no gray hair,
Black hair and one chin.
Who is this guy? Yeah, right. Who is this guy on top of these racehorses? It was excellent, man.
It was really, really great seeing Taylor.
Yeah,
and I adore your fiance in surrogate fashion, and Holy cow, what a game changer on the ice she is, man. I ain't breaking news here or anything, but talking to her for 3 minutes about that social media clip I saw against somebody recently where she won the game.
Yeah.
And the goalie had her eyes closed, trying to catch the puck. She got sniped so badly. I'm like breaking down hockey with her, man. It was cool.
Yeah, she was on the tails of an 11-day road trip, but we had to be there for you, man. It was a lot of fun.
Well, God bless you and your family, man.
Love you, man.
And love you too. Thank you for coming. Likewise for Nordo and Ava and Stella. Man, that was so great seeing your kids last night. I can't stop thinking about it.
Oh, they love you, man.
And I love them. Wonderful, wonderful young girls. All right, see you, P. Fox. Parker Fox at Parker Fox 24, part of the Timber Tech What's on Deck set list, which includes Vikes Bites right around the corner, followed by Mike Florio. If you put together an elongated Vikes Bites and we clip on it a little bit because of the Steve's Appliances Marathon, we got plenty of spots to mix them in during the course of the show. And Florio joins about 9:40. At 10 o'clock, we have a Vikings Talker of the Day with talkbacks tied to them.
Yes.
And Nordo's going to be leading that. Alas, there's much more on the Wednesday 9 to noon presentation. And I'm Paul Allen. Good morning. You're listening to 9 to noon at FM 100.3 KFAN.
Bites. Welcome back. It's 9 to noon, 9:30. Mike Florio around the corner. As PA mentioned last segment, at 10 a.m., we're going to start. I don't know if it's going to be an everyday thing, if we do it just once today and never do it again. That feels unlikely, but a talkback talker of the day. So if you're interested in participating and offering some big opinions on the purple, that's going to be around 10 o'clock. But Vikes Bites starts now. And we just have a handful of minutes. I did want to hit on a couple of things here, though, including Brian O'Neill talking about the end of the season feel for him personally.
I would say this one might be easier because we knew that this was the last one, if that makes sense. Where last year we were planning to play for, I was planning to play for a while. So when it abruptly ends and you weren't expecting it to, that makes it harder. Yeah, I guess that's kind of a different.
Yeah, it sounds like Brian going through kind of similar mentality as those of us that follow the team, love the team, and the emotional roller coaster of a season. We knew kind of after that Bears game you mentioned at PA, like, this 2% thing, I'm just not going to ride that vibe. It's just it's not going to work this year. And then that became the human nature part of things that you spoke of. And guys like Brian, if you can play, you can play. Which leads me to this audio clip.
I don't think there's regret because there's a lot of things that it's all out of our control with injuries and that type of thing. But I sure would have liked to had our full group out there more than we were. So yeah, but you can't have regrets, and you got to leave it all out there. And if you can play, you play, and if you can't, somebody else has to step in. And that was kind of the nature of our room and really our team this year.
Well, Brian, those are excellent clips, by the way, because Brian opens the door, if somebody is so inclined, when looking forward to the what's next plan, where Monday we were like, I mean, the mandates right now are what was the order I put them in? McCarthy.
Yeah, McCarthy. Drafting better.
Flores. Yeah, Flores. Figure that, and they're right. The draft bid.
McCarthy draft.
Yep. Start drafting better. With all due respect, to get players who help quicker and more effectively in certain spots. All right. But then behind that, you have a whole slew of talkers with talkbacks for the offseason that are non-obvious. Brian just put us on one. I mean, he's opening the door for those to read between the lines. And when he says, if you can play, you play.
Right.
And then he stops it right there. Just trying to figure out, like, what do you mean? I mean, like, what do you mean? All those concussions for Ryan Kelly. I know you don't mean that.
Right.
So that was interesting.
No, and that's the frustrating part of 9 and 8 radio is identifying financial levers to pull and all those things. I mean, we're going to be digging deep in the weeds, and Well, I'm going to dive headfirst into the weeds at 10 a.m. with my talkback talker on a Wednesday morning.
Yes, sir.
And we'll go a little bit deeper there. One more or two more little Vikes bits. How do you evaluate the tight end room in 2025 and then kind of couple that with moving forward? It's a little difficult for me. And I know the coaches will have their processes and such. This could lead down the road of TJ Hawkinson and that money he's going to make. It could lead down the road of, what do you think of Josh Oliver if you featured him more? Only 19 targets, 15 catches, but he was tied for the team lead in touchdown receptions this year.
You made Ben Sims sound like a cross between Bryson Nesbitt and Josh Wiley.
And Urasek.
Yeah, and Urasek
And
yesterday,
the baby
9
carrots.
to noon. The baby carrots.
But I just, when you go into an offseason, you want to have, not you don't need absolutes, but you need leans, you need ideas and trends that push you forward. And when you try to evaluate this tight end grouping, it's very difficult for me to do that, PA, because of what we got out of the quarterback spot this year. Mm-hmm. The idea, hey, we bring in Jordan Mason. If we can establish him for the most part, I thought Jordan Mason nearly 5 a clip when he was healthy and active. I love the first season that we got out of Jordan Mason.
Me too.
Kind of wish we got more out of him, to be honest with you.
With Jordan, I loved how he messed up his ankle in a losing season, and it was important for him to come back and play.
Yes.
Because
if you can play, you can play.
Seriously, that's the around Thanksgiving when I'm like, all right, boys, these are human nature games.
Yeah.
And for those who know what to look for, you know where to look, but it will reveal itself. And with Mason, it didn't. I mean, he messed up his ankle early in that Giants game when he was on the cart heading back to the locker room. I mean, I thought he was done for the year. I mean, he had a towel over his head. He was banging his fist down. He was so frustrated he couldn't play. But then in 9-8 radio season, my man comes back, plays, makes a difference.
He does indeed.
I love that.
Vikes Bites, we're going to pause now. I do have some things in my back pocket. As you mentioned, we got some openings later on. But Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com, his weekly appearances around the corner, PA.
Indeed. It's 9:36 PFT Radio next on KFAN. Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com, author of several books, including Father of Mine and Big Shield, nice enough to join 9 to noon each and every week, part of the well-respected NBC Football Night in America crew. And Mike joins us now. End of the deal, 9 and 8 around here, man. What do you think moving forward for the Vikings, and good morning?
Well, hey, the good news is that of the 14 playoff teams, 13 are guaranteed to not finish the year with a 5-game winning streak. So the Vikings have that,
there is that
going for them, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Look, they averted a disaster. When it was 4-8, it was as bad as it could have been. And there's something to be said for the resilience that the team showed, the leadership that Kevin O'Connell displayed to get things turned around, especially since most of those games, 4 of those games, were played at a time when the team knew it had no chance of making it to the playoffs. And it's good that it was done then, because when you look at the final standings, it's tantalizing to see how close the Vikings were to snatching that 7th seed. And I don't know how the tiebreakers would have gone if the Cowboys and Packers hadn't tied all the way back in week 4. If the Packers had lost that game, my gut tells me the Vikings probably would have won the tiebreaker. Now, again, the Packers would have made a greater effort to try to win the game than they did. But regardless, finishing with 5 in a row, 30 years ago, that would mean a lot more as it relates to the carryover to the next season. Roster is going to be very different. Coaching staff could be very different. With each passing hour that Brian Flores doesn't sign an extension, it becomes more likely that he takes at least a lateral move. And even if he does sign an extension, he could become the head coach of one of the 7 teams that are currently looking for a new guy to lead the locker room. So it's good, but it's an asterisk, because next year is going to be very different. But it's better to finish the way they did than to finish the way the Jets did, with 5 straight losses and a combined point differential of minus 137, 27.4 points per game they lost by. It's always better to go into the offseason with a team that feels optimistic, and anyone who is back next year is going to benefit from that vibe.
All right, so at ProFootballTalk.com yesterday, I read this story about former Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins, and Atlanta and a modified deal. All right. And Fairness and Announcer Act, I'm dumb because I read that and I'm like, all right, well, he's going to stay in Atlanta. Well, then I read further and I saw some other things where, like, with this modified deal, it makes it easier for him to leave Atlanta. And this is going to be an off season here with people talking about veteran backups or veterans who can compete for the one spot. What do you think about all that with Kirk O'Chains?
Well, here's what the contract revision ultimately means, because what happened was somebody reported about the modification. One of the other writers at PFT wrote about the modification. And then when I had a chance, I did a little digging to see what it all really means. Here's what will happen. On March 11 or March 12, the Falcons will release Kirk Cousins with a post-June 1 designation. The contract adjustment that was done earlier this week, whatever day they did it, it was all about reducing the cap number that the Falcons will carry until June 2, when financially the release hits the books, and it was about ensuring that the Falcons will have no choice but to cut him before March 13. He won't be on the market, technically, when the market opens, but anyone who's going to be looking for a quarterback will know that Kirk Cousins is in play and therefore will be considering him as an option, and he'll get the best possible deal that he can, because the reality is the longer it takes for you to hit the market, the less money is going to be available because teams burn through their budgets. So Cousins is going to be available for any team that's looking. And look, when you consider the landscape, the Jets, the Steelers, maybe the Browns, the Raiders, the Cardinals, there are teams out there that definitely are going to be considering their options at QB1. And what needs to happen, and we see this every year, the coaching carousel needs to stop before the quarterback carousel begins, because where will the head coaches be? Who will be the head coaches? Who will be the offensive coordinators? Where do we draw lines and connect dots back to Kirk Cousins? Those things are all relevant to what the options will be for the teams who need starting quarterbacks to consider Kirk Cousins. And he played well enough down the stretch that he's going to get another payday, $321 million in career earnings, and he's going to get more money. Now, he's guaranteed to get $10 million from the Falcons, but that's subject to offset, and he's clearly going to make more than $10 million this year. The question is, how much more than 30, 35 is he going to make? I think he will get paid. I think he'll be somebody's QB1 as of week 1, and I think that fact makes it less likely he'd come back to Minnesota for anything other than a clear assurance that he's the starting quarterback. The last thing he's going to want to do is another one of these situations where he does a deal and then he finds out 6 weeks later they've drafted his replacement. He's going to be very careful about that this time around because he got burned by that in Atlanta.
All right, so when I lay something out as minus 700, given your Wheeling, West Virginia raised, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And earlier in the week, I said J.J. McCarthy, in my estimation, is a minus 700 favorite to start week 1 for the Vikings next year. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know. All I know is this. If he's going to be the week 1 starter, they better have somebody there who is able to step in when he inevitably gets hurt. That's the biggest issue. Whatever improvement he makes, and there's been plenty of talk about footwork and mechanics, and he's only got one pitch in the arsenal, and it's a fastball, and it prevents the kind of layering of passes that can work the middle of the field, which the Vikings have done very well in past years. They need someone who will be happy to be there, paid accordingly, to be the 1B to McCarthy's 1A. And I think you have to give that person a fair chance to win the starting job. You're not going to get them to sign if you don't tell them they have a fair chance, and they'll get a fair chance, and at the end of the day, they'll start the best guy. I think that McCarthy hasn't done enough this year to have that job guaranteed. And if you're going to have a capable alternative, you have to give that person a fair shake at competing for the starting job. So I'm not going to go minus 700 because I think the kind of guy the Vikings need as insurance against future inevitable J.J. McCarthy injuries is going to be somebody who's potentially good enough to win the starting job. I think it's that simple. So the Vikings just need to do what's best for the team in 2026. They failed to do that in 2025. They failed to have someone there who would be the viable alternative to J.J. McCarthy, and that's one of the reasons why, even with a 9-8 record, it's not good enough to get to the postseason.
PFT.
Is the autumn wind going to be a Flores? You think the Raiders try to woo Brian Flores to become their next head coach?
I caught wind of the rumor over the weekend from somebody I've known for a long time and somebody I trust that this Brian Flores and Brian Daboll combination in Las Vegas is out there, the steam's there, and it makes sense when you consider this. Tom Brady was able last year to keep his head low and his mouth shut as it relates to how much involvement he had in the concoction of a 2025 Raiders team that ended up being abysmally bad. It was reported by the Las Vegas Review-Journal a year ago. It's Tom's show now. The problem is he's a part-timer. He's not there every day. He's chiming in from time to time and probably irritating the people who are there putting in the work. No one resents being told what to do by somebody who isn't there working elbow to elbow. And the statement that came out on Monday from the Raiders when they fired Pete Carroll said that GM John Spytek, in close collaboration with Tom Brady, will lead the football operation, including the search for a new coach. So, you think about this, personality-wise, teams tend to go for the exact opposite of the guy they fired. So with Pete Carroll, you have the raw, always positive players coach, and it was a complete and total disaster. The exact opposite is a guy who has Belichickian DNA, and that's what Brian Flores is, and Brian Daboll is. And I think if Josh McDaniels hadn't already been the coach of the Raiders and failed miserably, he'd be at the top of the list. I mean, really, if McDaniels doesn't have that miserable second stint in Las Vegas, he's one of the top candidates right now, at least until John Harbaugh got dropped into the mix. So if Brady is going to be calling the shots, I think Brady is going to want to try to create a Patriot way, because look at what happened when they created it this year in New England with Mike Vrabel. Even though he never worked as a coach for Bill Belichick, he played for Belichick. He's the perfect combination, I think, of Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick. He's got the right personality. That's going to be the key in Las Vegas. And I think it makes Flores and Daboll, or Daboll and Flores. It could be Daboll as the head coach and Flores as the defensive coordinator. But either way, I think Tom Brady has to be at a point where if he's not going to be there all the time, he needs people there running the show who learned how to win from the same guy that Tom Brady learned how to win from. So it all makes sense. It almost makes too much sense. A lot of times something makes so much sense, it's never going to happen. But I guarantee you that rumor was out there, and it caught my attention over the weekend, and it's something I'm going to monitor as the Raiders move forward.
How does Brady get all this decision-making power and get to call games for Fox with Burkhardt? How does that happen?
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Well, seriously.
Well,
I mean, we've talked about it before, like when he was in the coach's booth and you started writing about it and stuff, and it was seen on like Monday Night Football or whatever. But then, I mean, it kind of went in one ear and out the other for me. I didn't think it was that big. But now all of a sudden, we're talking about this minority owner with all this cachet making these massive decisions and getting to call games and go to other facilities.
From the moment that Fox hired Brady, while his bid to buy a piece of the Raiders was pending, my first reaction was the NFL is never going to approve Tom Brady owning a piece of the Raiders. If he's in this position where he's covering the entire league, he has access that no other owner has. As somebody said when this all first finally became a thing after the Monday night game between the Chargers and the Raiders, where Brady was in the booth, and it's funny, if you watch that clip, he hits the button and drops the chair down as low as possible. He's sitting there with the tablet. He's got the headset on. He's working with the Raiders coaches. Sometimes people need to see it to understand the issues. And somebody, I can't remember who it was, said, would you have an issue? I think it was Marcus Spears on ESPN. Would you have an issue with Jerry Jones calling games for Fox? He's the owner of the Cowboys, and he's out there in all these different stadiums. And this is the key. You're in a position where you're down on the field before the game, and you get to see guys in a different context, and you talk to a bunch of people, and people are going to want to talk to you because the coaches and the executives, they don't think of it the way fans do. Fans pick a team for life. Coaches and executives pick a team for a paycheck and an opportunity. And if it doesn't work out with the team I'm with, then there's going to be another team out there that may hire me, and one of those 32 teams is the Raiders. run by Tom Brady, and that's what Mark Davis wanted. Davis said last January he brought in Tom Brady to fill the role that had been held by John Gruden, to stabilize the football operation. I have to wonder what Davis thinks about the stability that Tom Brady has brought, but Davis is fine with this absentee landlord gig. I think it's a problem, and I think he needs to either be all in or all out. And, from my perspective, when we went through and ranked the desirability on a scale of 1 to 10 of all the various openings, from my perspective, I have one view of that team if Tom Brady's all in. I have another view of that team if Tom Brady is kind of halfway in, and another view of that team if he just says, I'm going to be a passive investor and I'm not going to be involved in management at all. But we know that's not going to happen. He's involved, and whoever takes that job is going to have to deal with the fact that after every game, he's going to get a phone call from Tom Brady, who wasn't at the game, who may not have even watched all of the game, and Tom Brady's going to have opinions on what that guy needs to do better. Do you really, as a head coach, do you really want that in your life when you got enough other stuff to deal with? And my guess is it drove Pete Carroll crazy, and until Chip Kelly was fired, it probably bothered him too that Tom Brady was chiming in with all sorts of thoughts based upon watching the game from afar.
Time for two more.
Did Kevin Stefanski take the fall for Cleveland dysfunction? And if so, why him a two-time coach of the year?
Don't call the Browns dysfunctional. The owner has asked nicely that we not call the Browns dysfunctional. So from this point forward, I am referring to them as the definitely not dysfunctional Browns.
Okay.
Look, this all goes back to the Deshaun Watson deal. The single worst transaction in league history, worse than Herschel Walker. Here's why. You give up 3 first-round picks. You give up 3 second-round picks. You lose the ability to bring in young, cheap players who will form the nucleus of your team moving forward. And you give $46 million per year on a 5-year contract, $230 million fully guaranteed to Deshaun Watson at a time when you know he's going to get suspended. He's got more than 20 at the time civil lawsuits pending against him alleging sexual misconduct during massage therapy sessions. That resulted in an 11-game suspension. It derailed his 2022 season. He didn't play in 2021. 2023, he gets injured. They cobble together a playoff appearance, pulling Joe Flacco off the couch. Kevin Stefanski was a 2-time coach of the year because he took the Browns to the playoffs twice, because nobody ever expects the Browns to go to the playoffs, not under Jimmy Haslam. Haslam's the problem. And this is the core issue for every fan of every definitely not dysfunctional team. You can't fire the owner. There's no recall vote. You're stuck. Jed York said it when he went through the stretch of fire Jim Harbaugh, fire Jim Tomsula, fire Chip Kelly. He said at a press conference, you don't dismiss the owner. That's the problem. You're stuck. And somebody had to take the fall. Think of it this way. Number one, for every team, when the season ends, you got to get your season ticket holders to renew. So you got to do something to get them feeling good about the team. And in Cleveland especially, Paul, they got that new stadium coming. I guarantee you they're going to have PSLs, massive investment, capital investment, got to pay that phony money for the right to sit in the seat that you otherwise buy with your season ticket money. So they got to do something. And I don't know what their plan is. They need to make a big swing. I'm surprised they're not at the front of the line for John Harbaugh. That's the kind of move that they need to make. If you're going to inspire the fan base to plunk down a significant amount of disposable income for PSLs, you need to go out there and you need to get a big name. And really, if I'm a guy with options, that's the last team I'm going to go work for, even though they're definitely not dysfunctional.
Packers at Bears, who do you fancy in that one? Or what are you going to be looking for?
Probably the Bears, because the Packers haven't won a game since the game during which Micah Parsons suffered the torn ACL. I think that took the air out of the balloon. The best chance for the Packers would be, in my opinion, have a Malik Willis package ready to go and use it. The Bears had trouble defending him, and if you've got both Jordan Love and Malik Willis, and you're going to use both of them, you're going to maximize your chance to win the game. And if the Packers lose, I don't rule out a coaching change there. 7 teams called John Harbaugh's agent about him possibly joining their team. Only 6 vacancies are out there other than the Ravens. Somebody who currently has a coach called Brian Harlan, son of former Packers CEO Bob Harlan, and inquired. And Ed Policy, the current president of the Packers, made it clear before the season, this is basically an up or out year for Matt LaFleur, whose team has made it to the playoffs 3 straight years as the 7th seed. If they hadn't expanded the playoffs in 2020, the Packers would be riding a 4-year streak of no playoffs. So this is one of those games that I think carries a potentially significant outcome for the Packers if they lose. But if they want to win this one, you got to get Malik Willis out there. This is their last stretch with Malik Willis. He ain't going to be there next year. He's going to be somebody's starter next year. They should use him while they have him.
That was excellent. Have a great day. Enjoy the games.
See you, Paul.
Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com, author of many books, including the most recent, Big Shield. And you can learn more about that at ProFootballTalk.com, PFT. Yeah, you know we love it. 9 to noon at KFAN. It's 10 o'clock. When we return, we have a Vikings Talker of the Day that will be tied to talkbacks. And we think you'll enjoy that when we return to the 9 to noon experience on KFAN.